To start off this video today, allow me to paint you all a picture. Let's say you were on the road driving and you decided to stop somewhere for just 5 minutes, and you can stop anywhere you can think of. And let's also say that within your car are a couple of important items, let's say firearms. In any situation when you get out of the car, do you want to make it easily accessible for people to go in and steal your stuff? Seems like a pretty obvious answer, right? Well, not so much for this so-called lieutenant here at this police department in Danielsville, Georgia. So under a month ago, North Georgia Audit decided to pay a visit to this police department in City Hall to see how they would respect his constitutional rights. And although they weren't exactly disrespectful to his constitutional rights or trying to infringe upon them, they still proceeded to show a lot of disdain for the public. At least at first, until he had an interview with the chief, and we'll showcase that later in this video. But in the meantime, links to the full original videos will be placed down below for you guys to see the uncut version for yourselves on North Georgia Audit's channel. With that being said, let's take a look at the negligence from this police department, shall we?
This guy's got his windows open. He doesn't have a dog back there. He's got a taser. Oh shit, he's got his taser. I hope you don't have your window open with you.
And the door is unlocked as well. That's really dangerous.
And his taser. But this is unlocked too. I'm not gonna try it. But wow. Is the other car in there? Oh, yeah, he's unlocked. He's got his rifle. Maybe we should just, I'm an inquisitive person.
One thing I really do want to point out here is that, just observing from a common sense perspective, the mere fact that these cops feel safe enough and complacent enough to leave their entire police cruisers completely accessible, the taxpayer-funded police cruisers accessible, really does say a lot about how little crime there is in this town. Either that, or how negligent they truly are. I don't care where you are or what situation you're in, always lock your car door. I mean, that's such a common sense thing. It's like looking both ways before you cross the street. You know what I mean? That said, take a listen to the disdain they have for the concerns of a private citizen.
Anyone from the police department here?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, who's driving the SUV out here?
That's me.
You got it unlocked, windows down, you got your rifle in there, taser in there?
Yeah, because I used the restroom when I was coming right back to it.
I mean, still, it's probably in your policy not to have it like that, right? Would you agree that it's in your policy to make sure your firearms are secured at all times?
Can I help you, sir? Do you need something from the police department?
Yeah, I'm asking you a question.
I've answered your question.
Okay, so it's not against your policy to leave your firearms unsecured with the doors unlocked and windows rolled down.
Right here.
Your rifle that's in there.
He's trying to deflect.
Sir, can I help you?
It's funny.
No, okay, you know about work. You're dismissed. You're good. You're Lieutenant Cook.
Yes.
Badge number?
802.
802. Take it easy. Enjoy it. I mean, if he was smart, he would go out and light it. No, he's going to go ahead and leave. That made sense. And you take it off too, buddy. You can kick rocks too. Back to work. Ain't gonna happen today.
It really is astonishing.
I'll leave, all right? I promise.
It really is astonishing how indifferent these cops can really be to us.
I mean, y'all don't think it's ridiculous? His vehicle was unlocked with his rifle and his taser sitting there. Oh, I'm sure y'all. I'm not asking you for your opinion, but I guess I did ask you for your opinion, but I knew I wasn't going to get a response.
That one lady, I ain't got nothing to do with it. Yeah,
What's your lady's name?
You work at the same building.
No, you work for the city. You get paid with tax dollars. Is it in your policy to identify yourself to members of the public? Oh, you work for the police, so you're law enforcement. So it's absolutely okay. Do you go by their policy and their code of conduct? So what is your name? You don't have to be a police officer. If you go by their code of conduct and if you go by their policies, it is their policy for you to inform a citizen such as myself of your name. It's really probably in the city policy, which I pulled through Open Records Act, that she's supposed to give me her name too. Which, let's see if I can zoom in and find anything on her desk. That Abby. Nice to meet you, Abby. And your name is? And your name is? Tabitha. Great. See, that's not so hard, right? How easy. My name's Shane. Nice to meet you guys. And who answers the phone here at City Hall mostly? Who answers the phone here at City Hall mostly? I'm sorry for what comes.
Man, the look in her face too. You see her expression?
The
look in her face. She just.
To do with it. The phone calls that you
that
get,
is a sin of sloth right there.
Has nothing to do with me.
Yeah, like I said, it just makes no sense to me that anybody would leave their car that readily accessible when there's weapons inside. That would be like the United States leaking their nuclear launch codes on the internet. That just... Why would you do such a thing? I'm not sure if it's because that lieutenant thought that nothing bad was going to happen to that police cruiser or anybody in that building, but you gotta keep in mind, a couple of minutes being in there, that a lot can happen in a couple minutes. I can't stress it enough, the lack of vigilance is astonishing. And luckily, it seems like the chief of police in this town agrees, because North Georgia Audit came back to this place to have an interview with him and see what his response to the situation was. And you're going to be surprised to hear what he has to say.
The other lady, a young lady, Abby.
Yeah, Abby.
Yep.
Yeah.
She will also be receiving some verbal counseling. Now,
Yeah, I wouldn't be too rough on her. She probably she's just a little, unfamiliar with parts of the handbook. I'm sure, because I'm sure y'all's handbook's pretty thick. Do you have a copy of it? Could I have a copy of it?
pull that up. This is the same thing that's in his file, or will go into his file as soon as Tim files it.
Sure.
So this is the firearms section, right?
Yeah.
This is another section here. Duty to give name, badge number, and identification upon request.
He did that.
Yeah. Well, he did it, but you struggled with getting it from her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
So all department employees and volunteers will provide their name and position when dealing with the public over the phone. If an officer is working in an undercover capacity, they're not required to identify themselves as an officer. Excuse me. I skipped a paragraph.
Go ahead. Go back.
To this end, all department employees shall politely give their name, badge number, or police identification to any person upon request.
Alright, so I'll give credit to the chief where credit is due. He kept his attitude completely professional, he was willing to listen to North Georgia Audit and everything he had to say about this, and he said that the lady who refused to give her name would be going through some counseling. Now, I don't know for sure if he was just saying this to appease North Georgia Audit, but he actually did get in contact with us, that being the auditor himself, and via email he told us that the sergeant, I believe he meant to say lieutenant in this email, was suspended 3 days with no pay and forced to do testing and training when he came back. Ah, such a beautiful sight indeed, if I do say so myself. This is... what, the third or fourth time the North Georgia Audit has gotten a public official held accountable for their actions? I know to some people, leaving a police cruiser wide open doesn't seem like that big of a deal, which is insane, but even if they don't think so somehow, it is a big deal, and the chief agrees because he was put on probation for this. So credit where credit is due to the chief of Danielsville, Georgia, and we really need more cops like this. I mean, please give us more cops like this, America. At least those are my thoughts on this, and we are curious to know what the rest of you think, so please do let us know in the comments down below. Also, don't forget to go subscribe to North Georgia Audit if you appreciate his style. Make sure to let him know the Recognizing Our Rights said hello, and support him in any way you feel he deserves. Also, don't forget about our other channels on YouTube. You obviously know about Skyju the First, but also take a look at the Common Sense Observer, a channel solely dedicated to showcasing the world of politics. All that being said, we the people, thank you once again for watching, and remember to never stop loving the Constitution.